All right, welcome everyone to our Thursday afternoon private, and let me emphasize private mastermind session. This is for team leaders. Now, we're upping the production level. You've got to sell at least 50 million in total sales volume in order to be on this call. However, if you're on this call and you're not quite there yet, you are grandfathered in. Now, by end of year, we're going to be kicking this up to about 100 million in total sales volume. So be prepared for that. Many of you are already there. Many of you are striving to get there. And yet that's what this call is all about. It's about the methodology, the strategies and tactics that you can implement and deploy right now to start trending that direction. Now, last week we talked about compensation models. We got into some pretty intricate ideas around how to compensate the people associated with your organization in such a way that it motivates them to act like owners. Now, those of you who were with us last week, I'd like for you to share with me your perspective, your epiphanies, or what we called at KW, ahas. Anybody have an epiphany? Anybody have some motivation that came through that discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Policino. By the way, Sean is one of our fantastic coaches here at Icon Coaching. Welcome, Sean. Take it away, my friend.
So I just had our team meeting yesterday, and I floated the idea of a profit sharing model on the team, and everybody just lit up. The fact that I was going to share my profit, because they know I'm selling real estate personally, and they know the team is selling some real estate, but individually they lit up just the thought of it. So I told them, I just gave them a little teaser because I'm not ready to roll it out yet, but I'm probably a week or two away from being able to.
Attaboy, Sean. Man, I love it. So powerful. Now, Haley, I'm going to call you out for a second. Haley, by the way, is in Massachusetts and right across the street from the Harvard campus, by the way. Thank you for turning on your camera. And I see Don's there with you, right? Haley, Don, great to see you guys. Now, Haley is the chief of operations for the DDG group in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And she's kind of the glue that holds this whole team together. Now, I started working with Todd just about 3 years ago, and it was Todd and Todd alone. He had achieved maybe 16 million in total sales volume. And the first key hire was Haley. And Haley is just a dynamo, a rock star, no doubt. I mean, seriously, so organized, and has adopted the Icon coaching methodology and just without deviation applies it. And I mean, sure, we all have hiccups from time to time. Am I right, Haley?
Of course, we're human.
Of course. And now Don recently aligned with the team as the director of sales. Now, you are in the process right now of rolling out the profit share program with all the agents as well as administrative support on the team. Why don't you give everybody kind of a sense, like, especially Sean, who's getting ready to roll this out. What did you guys learn through the process? What is the energy on the team? How's it impacting the culture and the environment? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I think you were actually here helping us with our year-end business planning. What was it, January or December? I can't remember, but you were here with us when we rolled it out, and kind of like, I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's name before when he was speaking, but the energy, everyone loves it. Like, especially the employees where, their income is fairly fixed. And so being able to see like, oh gosh, there's reward for going through this crazy madness that is the real estate, and especially the spring and summer market, where we do challenge them to work some fairly tough hours and deal with some chaotic agents. So seeing that being rewarded. And I know you spoke today with Todd Denman about kind of looking at who brings in the business versus team generated, and also having the profit share kind of take that into account, which is also extremely exciting. So it's been a very warm reception. I don't think anyone doesn't love it.
Well, good. And Don, from your perspective, how's it impacting the sales side? Because Haley, you're more of our operations, and yet while you have interaction with salespeople, Don, you have your one-on-ones with them on a weekly basis. So tell me, how's that impacting the attitude of the sales agents?
Yeah, I mean, I think for overall, it really ties them all into the whole business of our group, and you can really root for someone else in your team to do well. The more we do as a group, the higher that is. I think it'll have much more of an impact when we actually, roll it out fully and say to the team, like, it's not just a concept. Here are all the details. Here's how much you can expect to make. So I think when they get the real numbers, we'll get a little bit more excitement. But they love the fact that, others' success is their success, kind of like an owner, right? When you're an owner, you're sharing your success with everybody. So they're doing that as well. And I think that's, what will motivate them with this program.
Heck yeah. So even if they have a bad week in the month of July or a bad
Yeah.
month in the month of August, they're guys, the goal here is retention, right? They won't quit because now they've got 7-8 months of production under their belt toward that next year's distribution of net profit above the floor. So they're going to get a percentage. So for those of you who weren't here, just very quickly, we establish a floor, meaning 0 to the floor. There is no profit share. Okay, meaning the team leader deserves that money. They're the ones who took the risk. And until they make that much money, they're not going to share in any of the net profits. And I'll underline net, okay, not gross revenue, net profit after all expenses, all commissions, every expense that you can write off. Here's what we're going to do. This is the net number. And anything above that, we're going to share a percentage of that net number above it. Okay.
And no one else is doing this, Sean, like no one. So when we roll it out, both for employees and agents alike, it's wow, like I never thought anyone would maybe even share some of this. Like, they were definitely excited, but also like kind of taken back from this.
Yeah, and I think it's a good recruiting tool too. I met with a prospect earlier in the week, and when I was going through the splits, the commission split of our team and the structures, I went through that. We also have an agent that we had this program, and she was blown away. She's like, you give profit sharing? She's like, but I would be an agent, not an employee. Like, what do you mean? And so I kind of explained it to her on the surface, and she's like, that's incredible. So again, it's retention, it's recruiting. It's just it's a good, to show that, like, look, the leader of this team, the leader of this group cares about, you. It's not just about him lining his pocket. It's, he wants everybody to be successful. So it works in all aspects. It's really a great program.
I have a question.
Well, first off, Don, you read my mind, man, because that's exactly where I was going. I was going to call.
Yeah, I just used it.
Yeah. How does this impact the ability to recruit agents, to align with the team, to attract those talented people to say, yes, I want that opportunity? So thank you for that, Don. Sean, over to you.
Yeah, I have a question. So we meet virtually twice a week. I have a training session with my team. There's 8 on the team, 10 total on the team, but 2 are in 2 different states. And the 8 that are here in Los Angeles, we stretch from Orange County all the way to Ventura County, which is pretty much all of Southern California. And so my thought was, I'm going to create a thermometer graphic and have the floor be set at, like a blue, and goes up, starts to get more and more red. And then when it gets to the floor, it turns, bright red, obviously. So they can see as, the team's profit is going up to the point where they all of a sudden now above that level are going to get earnings.
Love that. So should you make the decision and deploy this strategy, it's going to help with many things, no doubt about that. In fact, like I said earlier, it's going to force them to act like owners, so they want to keep expenses as low as possible and net profit as high as possible. I mean, somebody like Don, director of sales, he's over recruiting, he's over training, retention, increasing the revenue per agent, as well as reproduction. He's handling all of that. And Don, somebody like Don could come in, and sure, he could blow up the revenue by saying, hey, Todd, we need to invest $20,000 a month in Zillow ad spend. Yet you're not going to do that. Why? Because of profit share. It's net operating income, right? So you're going to be lean, you're going to be mean, and you're going to increase the net profit of your organization. Absolutely love it. Any questions about what we've talked about thus far? All right, gang. Now, this is a forum. This is an opportunity for individuals of like mind to literally just share what's going on in your world, to have a collaborative group that is supportive. See, one thing I know about being at the top of the top is that it's difficult to find people to talk through your problems with. Would you guys agree with me? You can't go to your chief of operations or an agent on your team and say, hey, I'm worried about this problem, I'm worried about that problem, because you're just at different levels in the organization. Plus, we don't want to necessarily show that weakness to the people on our team at the same time. Yet here, I just want a very authentic environment where we can share our concerns, our challenges, and collaborate with one another. So if you showed up to today's call thinking, well, man, I'm just going to kick back, take some notes, pull some ideas, well, quite frankly, you're on the wrong call. Just hit the end button or the leave button right now, because I really want you to participate at a very high level. So let's open it up to just open floor. You can take the mic anytime you want to take it and tell me what's going on in your world Like if you could wave a magic wand and by the time we're done with this call, you've got one problem solved, which would it be?
I think Todd's talking, but he's muted.
Hey, there he is, Mr. Denman. I was just bragging on your team a little bit there, my friend.
You were?
Yeah, we were talking about how you're getting ready to roll out. Well, we rolled it out last December at your team advance, where I flew out to Cambridge and we spent the whole day together, which, by the way, one of the highlights of my year. It was just so much fun. And so we rolled it out to them then. And now the finances are together, the books are together, and you're getting ready to do the state of the company address in early April, where you're going to actually share the hard numbers with them and show them what the projection looks like if you stay on the same trend line. Yet with Don's help and the potential merger and acquisition of yet another team to your organization, those numbers could shoot way through the roof and everybody is going to receive some benefit from that. So buddy, I was just bragging about you. Yet let's talk about some of the issues, some of the challenges, maybe some, like I said, if you could wave that magic wand, what would you want to solve right now?
It's funny. I was actually talking about that. I mean, I'm assuming there are other leaders on the call, and I was just talking with Don and Haley, our leadership team, our director of sales and director of operations, about when I need to let go and let the leaders on the team run with initiatives and allow them to flourish and do things in their own way. And I'm fortunate enough that we have a culture and a relationship on our leadership team where I can get that feedback that I need to let go. But I would say, yeah, I don't consider myself a micromanager, but I think that like anyone, this is my baby. It's been my baby the business is my baby, but for a long time. And I think that even if I think I've taken my hands off the wheel of something, I think I've still got a knee on it or something like that. So, so I think, for me, it was just being, it's being cognizant of that. And I think that I haven't, this is obviously hot off the press from today's conversation, but, I think like what I'll likely do is spend some time with Haley and Don on what are things where I need to get out of the way and allow the team to just, I'm the bottleneck. Like I would ask all of you on the call, like where in your business are you the bottleneck? Because if you had just gotten out of the way, you'd actually be further down the course. So, Don, Sean being my coach for years now knows that I have a hard time delegating. So it's asking yourself who, not you, when you want to roll out an initiative.
Good job, Todd. And by the way, the evolution of mindset with Todd Denman has been really fun to watch because I remember even up to 12 months ago, Todd, we'd be talking about a certain strategy, a new tactic. And Todd's like, oh man, that sounds great. I'm going to implement this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this. And then I said, well, wait a minute. Listen to how you're talking. What are you really saying? And he's like, oh, it's who, not you. And now the first thought in Todd's mind is, who can do that with me? Who can do that for me? So Todd, congratulations, because there's a wide chasm that needs to be constructed within our own mindset as leaders to shift from the I do it phase to the we do it phase, the we do it phase to step over that line to get to the they do it phase, because it's a totally different type of thinking and it's a totally different skill set as it relates to leadership. No doubt about that. So one other thing I wanted to mention, Todd, is that now that you've successfully stepped out of production, meaning you're no longer going on listing presentations, working with buyers, unless there's some kind of a crazy emergency, what has now become your 20%? And by the way, for the benefits of others, I'm referencing Pareto's principle, right? The 80-20 rule. 20% of our actions yield 80% of our results. Now in real estate sales, it's really simple. It's practice, lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. Yet now what do you do once you've built a team, you've got the right models, systems, technology, and most importantly, the right people to where you don't have to produce anymore. So what becomes your 20% work? And Todd, I want to hear your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty fresh perspective given that Don just took over the sales department on our team. And now I'm able to kind of lift my head up a little bit and think about what does our business need most and what are my strengths, and my strengths are really getting out into the community and making sure that every opportunity, whether it's a buyer, seller, an investor, or a potential recruit to the team, knows that we're the right team in the community. So really, rainmaking activities is top of mind. How to make sure that the 10 agents on our team have more business than they know what to do with. And then once we get to that point, how many, more agents do we need? And then, kind of growing from there. And so as we speak, I'm meeting with the marketing department to figure out how we can leverage my social media. What type of events do I need to be showing up to? What type of content do I need to be putting out there? So this is all kind of in the works as we speak.
Yeah. See, many of us, we want to create content, valuable content to our market area. And yet we find ourselves down in the weeds, kind of stuck in this 80% work, or maybe you're still in the sales side of the 20% work, and you just can't seem to carve out the time. So now that you're able to kind of lift your head toward the horizon and say, okay, what needs to be done? It really becomes about content creation, rainmaking activities, making certain that you're flooding the business now with leads. Now, by the way, let's talk and take several steps back. And let's talk through the traditional agent growth trajectory, okay? You start as a solo agent. I'm in the I do it phase. I'm doing everything by myself. Now, because we don't have the production, we don't have the income, we are forced to begin with a prospecting-based model that's enhanced by marketing. You guys with me on that? Yes?
Yep.
Because we don't have the bank account for it. We can't write those checks to Sync and to YLOPO and straight text. And you just don't have the ability to make that happen. So we start in a prospecting-based model. Then we start to slowly make the segue into a marketing-based model that's enhanced by prospecting. See, and that's where, Todd, I believe you're at, is that you've now got the production, you got that level of income, net income, to where you can start playing with some of these different tools that are out there to really flood the agents with leads. No doubt about that. So how many of you guys, out of curiosity, have made the segue from a prospecting-based business now to a marketing-based business? Anyone? All right, Jennifer Jones, let me hear from you first, and then we'll come over to Brenda Thompson.
Yeah, so I think we use a lot of Sync, so marketing, right? We have paid advertising, we have paid radio ads. Is that kind of what you're looking for, Sean? Like
exactly.
more the marketing?
For the benefit of those who have not yet made that transition from a prospecting-based business enhanced by marketing to a marketing-based business enhanced by prospecting, when did that occur for you? About what level of production? When did you feel comfortable saying, okay, I'm ready to write this check for radio ads? I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to cross my fingers and get down on my hands and knees, and I'm going to pray, right? At what point did you take that leap of faith?
So I think for me, I got to a point as an individual, I couldn't handle it, like the amount of business. So I ended up having agents come to me and wanting to start, like, join my team that I didn't have, right? So that's kind of how. And I actually I prayed on it. No joke. I prayed and said, I really need an ISA. I need someone to call to provide even more leads for the team. And I actually had a woman that reached out about a week later saying, hey, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've been an agent for 8 years and I want to dial for you. Are you interested in that? Right? I'll just take 25% and I'll dial. So she now runs my basically is I would call her a partner. And she's my ISA manager. So when we got to that point and we started attracting more and more realtors, we then paid for Sync. So initially it's like, yeah, each thing you do, the radio ads, the Sync, the marketing, we've done YLOPO, we've done probably every paid service you can possibly imagine, testing them all out. We do that, test it. And then if it doesn't work within 6 months, we trash it and move on to something else. But we spend about $1 million a year in marketing. And that, I had to build to that point of that threshold of comfort, right? Because, back when I started, if I thought, I get $1 million of just liability on the marketing side, you wouldn't do it. You'd be crazy, right? So it just has to kind of build naturally, but you do have to stretch. And for me, just trying things, I've done it, and then I only give it a period of time. And if it doesn't have that return that I want to see in terms of how many leads or how many done deals, then we just scrap it. So we find Like even the radio ads we don't just do radio ads. We're pretty specific. So we are sponsoring a contest right now. So you can win tickets to fly first class to Paris and see Madonna live. Okay. So that's what I'm sponsoring on that specific radio station. And I do a lot of sponsoring their like their charitable things, right? So they'll put me on the radio like 80 times or whatever based on donating money to charitable things. And then we also do a radio ad on a Christian station. So we find that draws us the lovely clientele that kind of operates from that mindset. And we definitely do business based on that. But you wouldn't find like in your first month, you probably wouldn't do a deal. It would take like that sort of 60 to 90 days of continued radio ads to get that rolling. So
Yes.
that's me. Crazy.
Right. Well, thank you for that, Jennifer. And Brenda, we're going to come over to you in just one second. Yet I get to experience Jennifer's growth trajectory from afar at first. Yet when Jennifer came to me, she was the agent who kept adding agents, adding administrative support, and every one of them looked directly to Jennifer for leadership and management, right? And she was dealing with span of control issues without question.
Yes.
I mean, the military will tell you can effectively manage 3 to 5 people. And that's it. Once you go beyond 5, guys, you've given your life away and you're working 80 hours a week. You're missing out on important life events and you're married to your business, seriously. So, Jennifer, I mean, the implementation of director of sales, obviously a work in progress, yet critically important to be able to leverage that off to reduce the number of key direct reports that have direct access to you, no doubt. By the way,
you do burn out. You burn out, right? And actually, I was just thinking that, like, this is just that reminder for me, Sean, even that I have to go back to that place of hiring into that role, right? Where you start getting cranky with your own agents when they call you and need like help on something or help with their mindset.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows, and Jennifer, if you don't mind, I'll be completely transparent. She hired a director of sales.
Yes.
And the director of sales, sadly, after about 8 months, did not necessarily pan out to the level that we had expected. Remember, director of sales, and Don, yes, I'm talking to you as well. There are over 4 basic things. Number 1 is recruiting, and that's always going to be paramount. That's the most important aspect. Okay, then it's retention of the agent population. Then it's revenue or per agent production. So that's where the training and coaching and one-on-one meetings and all that and accountability comes into play. Then it's about reproduction to get them into a position where they're giving other people that hand up to a higher level of production. So back over to you, Todd, real quick. What we're doing is instituting the VP of sales role beneath the director of sales to, again, further disseminate the span of control issues of the agent population on the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, Don could be managing, 12 agents all at once, or by promoting somebody within to VP of sales, allowing some agents to report directly to that agent. It just reduces the number of key direct reports that Don has to deal with. See, if Don continues managing all of the agents, well, then everything else is going to suffer from recruiting, which is going to stifle growth, no doubt about that. And we want to free him up to be able to make that happen. So, getting Don down to ultimately 3 to 5 key direct reports, VPs of sales, and having them manage 3 to 5, maybe as much as 10 agents each, giving them an override of the commission of the agents beneath them makes a lot of sense. This is how we build a really large organization, you guys. See, when I think of this, a lot of people say, man, I don't want that headache. I don't want that many people. I don't want to manage them. Well, guess what? You don't. You really don't. You just have to manage 3 people. That's it. When I think of that, I think of Gary Keller. I worked side by side with the man for 8 years. His life is less complicated than yours. I promise you that. He's got 3 people that he manages, and he's got over 160,000 agents in his organization. You understand this, right? But those 3 people are absolute rock stars, and they crush the goals every single year. And if they're not,
and I would say that the VP of sales and lead agent roles that we've rolled out on the team, and we're still working on placing people into those roles, but what's nice about that is not only helping with span of control and proper org structure, but it's also a retention strategy for someone to make passive income, semi-passive income, so that, most agents on teams are just beholden to opening doors and selling real estate. Well, on our team, you're going to be able to sell real estate. You're going to be able to develop into a leader and then make a dividend on what your agent team is producing underneath you. And then you've got profit share on top of that. And so it's all kind of a growth model, but also a retention strategy for people to want to stay. I'm most passionate about developing leaders. And so I'm so excited about the work that we're doing in the leadership world on our team.
Well, me too, Todd. It's so powerful. And by the way, nobody else is doing that either, right? They're building a large team, and guess what? It's like a revolving door of agents. Seriously, they'll get one in the front door, two more leave out the back door, and it's this constant turnover of agents. And all they're doing is training up their competition. Seriously, they're opening the Komodo. Here's everything we do. Here's the systems we use, and everything else. They extract as much value as possible. Then they leave because being stuck in a model where I'm getting 50% of the GCI on every deal I close, it's not all inspiring. They burn out quickly, and their vision begins to exceed the size of the vision you have for them. That's when they want to leave. So this is a big vision, Todd. It allows them to be financially compensated as the team does better. Now, I did post to the chat, if you guys are at all interested in investigating the Sync platform. Most of the high producing agents and teams that I have the honor of coaching are engaged with the Sync platform just because of their methodology around digital ad spend, managing your ad spend, and producing results. Their ad set goes through 40,000 optimizations every month. You're consistently ranking 1, 2, or 3 on the Google search engine, and the lead flow is just incredible. So with that said, I posted a link. You can complete a demo. You get some discounts if you use that link. So I'd encourage you to check it out. So right on. And Brenda, let's go back over to you. And you have made that segue, that transition from a prospecting-based business, which we all start at, to a marketing-based business. And when did you make that segue, that transition? When did you know it was the right time?
Mine's been a long time because I'm the broker over a brokerage. So mine has been for a long time and kind of pushed with my previous company where I was the managing broker and not just the owner, or both roles, whichever. So mine was a little bit different in that I quickly tried to become a non-competing broker, and that's the role I still would portray. Not that I don't do the occasional deals here and there, which still is probably more than the average agent, but my focus is getting them business and helping them. And so they see me as marketing the company, which brings those leads and that business to them. So I'm glad you shared the link about Sync, because that's something that I would look into for them on behalf of getting leads to them. KB Core is what I have currently invested the most heavily in, so that I'm giving them the tools to be able to market and promote themselves. But yeah, I would say the initial switch from producing myself and doing everything myself to switching into more of a marketing role was kind of pushed upon me, but honestly, it's what I love the most. I'm happiest in this role. So when you can get to that point to where you're passing off some things and using your team members, and by that I mean like your staff team members, to be able to do some of those functions and tasks for you, it's the easiest for you to be able to walk away at the end of the day and take a breather and take a break. Now, that said, I wrote down several things that Todd said, and one of them is, where am I the bottleneck? Because I get that. I acknowledge bottleneck. That's me. Because I'm particular about the way things look. So that's part of that transition into the marketing. I want marketing to look great. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be a reflection of who we are as a company and what I want us to be. And so I think I am sometimes that bottleneck, just because I work too hard at getting it just right instead of just doing it, or letting someone else do it even better.
Yeah, even better. Who, not you, right? Just
Right.
get out of the way, let the company
Who,
grow
not you.
quicker. Now, oftentimes done is better than perfect. There's no doubt about that. Yet at the same time, part of the reason you've been so successful is because of that attention to detail, I'm sure. So when you leverage something and when you hand something off to somebody, I'll do a visual demonstration with you guys. Like, for example, you're the team leader, you're handling recruiting, you're handling retention, revenue per agent, as well as reproductive. You're handling all of these things all on your own. When you hire a director of sales and you're going to hand over the recruiting, the retention, all of that stuff over there so you can focus on rainmaking activities. When you hand it off, imagine this pen, okay, is the job. And you go to hand them the job and they go to take it from you. What you do is you hold on to it, right? You hold on to it, you hold on to it. And they're pulling and you're pulling and you hold on to it until they're ready to just rip it out of your hand, until they're prepared for the opportunity. One of the worst things you can do is just, throw them to the wolves, right? Just make sure they're prepared. The worst thing you can do is promote somebody who isn't prepared for it. And if you do promote them and you don't believe they're prepared, hold on to the job until which time you can hand it over to them. Does that make sense? Don't just throw it at them, in other words. Yeah, here, take it. Not going to work. All right. So,
although I think there have been plenty of times we've all felt that too. Like, it's a hot potato. I just need to get it off.
Isn't that the truth? So, yeah, let that be a warning, right? That if you're feeling that, there's a reason for it, and you need to just apply the additional discipline to make sure that they're prepared for the role. No doubt about it. I love it. Now, as you make these hires, I want you to remember, and this might come across a little bit cold, a little bit callous, and that's okay. Yet when you hand somebody the job and you let go of that job, just recognize the best part about their job is what? Come on, Todd, tell everybody. What is the best part about their job?
It's their job.
Yeah, there you go. Jennifer, good job. That it's their job. You can't do it for them, and you can never let them try to give it back to you. If they're trying to give it back to you, that's a telltale sign that they're not the right talent for the role. Okay. So with that said, Haley, Don, I know you're never the type to give Todd the job back, right? You want to do whatever it takes to get it across the goal line. And that's why you guys make such a great team, no doubt. All right. So other challenges, let's talk about challenges right now. What's going on with the market right now? I mean, rates have come up. Anybody who had 2 brain cells refinanced over the course of the last 3 years, they're sitting with the 3% mortgage, pretty happy. If they list that property for sale right now and they need to finance the next purchase, they don't want to step from that 2.75% mortgage to a 7% mortgage. They just don't. So what they're doing is moving in place. They're remodeling the kitchen. They're doing that room addition instead of listing their homes for sale. So we're seeing low inventory in most major markets in the US at least. How's it going up in Canada, Jennifer?
Yeah, same. Low inventory, but our interest rate is holding based on the last bank date. So we're holding, and actually sales are really good. We actually have 7 offers coming in on one property in just north of Toronto. We've sold like 6 waterfronts over the course of 2 weeks, like big ones. So I think for us, it's picked up. Good. So I don't know, like we carried a lot leaner. Our production was down below 2021 from about October till present. So when you're carrying a big team of 40 agents and $1 million of marketing, et cetera, that's like pushed me back into production to make 100% sure that we're like nailing those appointments, getting every single. So yeah, our market probably a little bit better than what you guys are experiencing right now by the sounds of it, right?
Could be. Let's hear from everybody else.
I'll jump in.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I'm in a great market overall. I'm in primarily in Texas. Primarily, my agents are in Dallas, but we do have Houston and Austin too. And I would say, are we feeling a little adjustment because of the interest rates? Yes. But our spring market is already picking up. I would say my Austin agents are feeling it the most because they had that increase, and with everything happening in the tech sector, they're a little more paused than what we are in Dallas and Houston. Dallas and Houston are trucking right along, so we're doing okay.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've got 2 sons that sell in Austin with a real estate team that I formulated starting at about 6 months ago. I wanted to prove that I could build a profitable real estate team by investing a half hour a week. And guess what? It's working. In fact, my son this morning, started last night, finished this morning, wrote a $3.3 million offer from a sync lead. That doesn't suck for a 24-year-old kid. I mean, $110,000 commission on one of his first deals. It's like, my first listing, you guys, was $18,000. Okay, and it took me 6 months to sell the darn thing. I mean, if I calculated my hourly rate on that, it was definitely below minimum wage. Yet I'm just so happy and so grateful for the opportunity of both my boys. They're 24 and 23 years old and just crushing it with their real estate careers. It's just awesome. So anyhow, I lost track because I got my family involved and I started thinking about that. Yet nevertheless, thank you for that perspective, Brenda. They're in Austin. That's why I brought that up. Austin is definitely suffering right now, more so than Dallas and Houston. We can feel it. The number of leads that have come in have diminished. The motivation of the people that have volunteered their contact information to be able to do live MLS searches and or get property valuations has diminished dramatically. And my son reported to me just yesterday that he'll create 15 conversations in a day and 14 people hang up on him. And it's not what he's saying. It's not how he's saying it. I've worked with him. It's just the motivation factor has, for some reason, kind of evaporated here in Austin. What are you guys feeling in your local markets? Talk to me.
Yeah, I think in our Cambridge market, our biggest problem is inventory. We're putting properties out that are getting 4, 5, 6, 7 offers. They're going way over asking price. I think it was like 2 weekends ago, we had 3 properties on the market, all over $1 million, and we got over $100,000 over asking price on every single one of them. But I'm in meeting with my agents this week with one-on-ones. They're all like, yeah, I have 13 active buyers, I have 10 active buyers, and there's nothing on the market for them. So cash buyers, no contingencies. You still don't know if you're going to get a property. That's our struggle here, is just getting inventory on the market. There still just is not any inventory here.
And so I feel like that's where we're trying to be more creative. Like I was just talking to our director of marketing we just hired about, in our monthly newsletter that does have really good traction, if we can start doing in search ofs and kind of start playing matchmaker out there, doing, what we can to drum this up. We've had Holden on our team in the past know that, his buyers are extremely specific. They love this one building. There's no unit for sale. Okay, let's draft a letter to everyone in the building. Let's make something happen. So we're definitely having to be more creative, but like Don said, if you're representing the sellers, you're doing well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So
we have buyer agents that are doing listings now. I mean, we have buyer agents that closed one listing last year in 40, they had 41 transactions. 40 of them were buyers. One was a listing. And this year in the first quarter, they've done 2 buyers and 6 listings. So, they're adjusting in that point. And we're really trying to use, like Haley said, we're trying to use marketing to matchmake, really, and just, using our buyers to find listings and listings to find buyers.
I think it's brilliant, you guys. How many of you guys are advertising the needs of your motivated buyers right now? Okay, Jennifer, I see your hand went up. Now, I think this is important, you guys, because getting buyer leads, that's easy. All you have to do is advertise houses. See, buyers call on houses, yet sellers, they'll call on buyers. Y'all with me on this? So in the process, what you do is you create that full cycle sales system. I might have described this to this group. I don't know. I talked to so many people. If I did, please stop me. But imagine a clock with me, okay? 12 o'clock is the top, right? Then you got 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And I'm doing this counterclockwise in my own head because of the Zoom. Yet imagine 12 o'clock as you obtain a listing, or Brenda, for you, an agent within your brokerage obtains a listing. Now, generally speaking, what the agent is going to do is they're going to advertise that listing, and the natural byproduct, guys, at 3 o'clock is what? They get what kind of leads? Buyer leads, right? Y'all with me? This is a part where you get to participate. So let's do that. So then what they do is they get the listing under contract, they get the buyer leads, they work the buyers, that get the buyers under contract. Then what? Well, it's back to working hard. Let's get another listing at 12 o'clock. And what they do is this part cycle real estate sales process. And what they're doing is just bouncing back 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And it's kind of clunky. It's like boots in the dryer, right, guys? So rather, when we take a listing, we advertise the listing, you get buyer leads. You're going to work the buyers, of course. And in working the buyers, what you do is you advertise their needs to everybody in your sphere of influence. You do social media videos, social media posts. You add it to your newsletter, like Haley said. where you're in search of? Do you know of a home? Do you know of someone who wants to sell a house that meets the needs of any of our buyers? And you just bullet point your buyers. Buyer number one, looking between this price range and that price range, this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms in this zip code. Buyer number two, looking at this price range, this many bedroom bathrooms, and in this zip code. And you make sure you cover kind of the whole gambit of the market, right? So like Jennifer, you'd be this buyer looking for lakefront, this buyer looking for an investment property. You know, Sean, you might say this person looking for vacant land to build a home on, whatever it is, you cover the whole gambit, right? So you take a listing, you get buyers, you advertise the needs of the buyers, that leads you to 6 o'clock, your next listing. Then you advertise the listing, leads you to 9 o'clock, get more buyers, advertise the buyers, leads you to 12 o'clock, creates that full cycle sale process. And advertising the needs of your buyers, especially right now, you guys, is something each and every one of you should strongly consider, if not demand, that it gets done. You know, we did it the first Thursday of every month. We did snail mail. We sent it to every single person in our database. Just a simple one pager. It said, who do you know on the front? They open it up and it's buyer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then at the bottom in big font, if you know of somebody who would like to sell a house that meets the needs of any of our buyers, call us, with the phone number being the largest thing at the bottom of the page. And guys, I'll tell you what, the phone would ring and people saying, well, I'm thinking about selling my house. Buyer number 7 on your list looks like it might be a good fit. So if you want to generate more seller leads, that's an easy way to make that happen. When you control the listings, you control the market, right? All right, gang. So we've got a few minutes left here. So let's take advantage of it. Let's go back to 2022 for a moment. And I want to hear from each and every one of you. Troy Sage, we're going to start with you, sir. And here's the question. What was the best marketing strategy that you implemented, deployed last year that brought you the biggest results?
YouTube.
YouTube, talk more, man, please.
All right, I'll make this as fast as possible. I moved to the Dallas, Texas area, December of 21, where I knew 0 people, had 0 database, and decided that I was going to jump back on YouTube and simply do market updates and ask for business. And the way I asked for business was I wanted to teach people. So I marketed a sellers online on-demand seminar where I recorded a bunch of videos and I lead captured that way. So I marketed out, anyone thinking about selling your home, check out this free on-demand video seminar. That produced me 15 leads, 15 appointments in about 7 months. So it's a slow snail's pace. Then I did the same thing with buyers. If you want to know what's going on in the market, besides my market updates on YouTube, and you want to know how to buy a home, whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're an investor, the Dallas market is different from the Temecula market where I came from in California. Watch these online demand videos. So I just lead captured, then I dripped on them in my contact management system after that. I didn't pound them very hard. And that produced me probably another 8, I would say 9. Number 9 isn't very strong of a buyer, but they're engaged with me. The rest of the things that trickle in are really long-term nurture. So I quit paying for advertising anywhere and everywhere. Even on YouTube, I don't pay for ads. I just pump out my weekly video and I really push as much video as I possibly can. And I push that out onto social media. Was that helpful?
Definitely helpful. Thank you, Troy. And many people recognize, like Todd Denman, great example. In our coaching session the week before last, I challenged him to come up with his 20% work. And what we really boiled it down to was content creation. See, content is always going to be king in marketing. When you can teach somebody something, even if they're just watching a video of you, it creates that parasocial relationship and it builds trust, it builds loyalty, and they want to get in relationship with you. So parasocial means the person watching your video, unbeknownst to you, you don't know this person even exists. They're forming a relationship with you. Psychologically, they feel that they actually know you. So YouTube is a great way to pump that out, to build a massive following on YouTube with your content. Now, the key to that is consistency. You all agree? So a lot of times you get excited about something, you do 1 or 2 videos, and then the next thing you know, it's been 6 months since you've done another video. So it's time blocking the time to make sure that it's happening. Way to go, Troy, and thanks for bringing it up. Brenda, how about you? 2022 best marketing strategy that produced the most results.
mine goes back to KB Core, just investing in KB Core for all of my agents. So I've got an office of 100 agents, and it's investing in the full blown program for all of them. And one, it was a competitive advantage because a lot of other brokerages are also offering that, but I pitch it completely to them in a way that it is for them to market and benefit themselves, to bring more business in for themselves. And like anything, you have some that take extreme advantage of it and do exceptionally well, and they alone make it all worth it. So it's not about, I don't have every single one of those agents using it to the level that they should, but the ones who are bringing in enough closings to actually pay for the marketing. So it does pay for itself.
Okay, so what you're doing is advertising their IDX website on different social channels as well as Google ads, yes?
Yes.
Awesome.
And all of their listings, we have it set up to where they automatically get marketed on all social media channels too. And that works. That helps. It helps get them leads.
KB Core has a great system for property boost. I think it makes a lot of sense. I've got agents that will invest $45 in that property boost, and they'll generate 150 leads from $45. Makes a lot of sense, no doubt.
Yeah.
Henry Valles, over to you.
Yeah, last year I would probably say my client appreciation party was the best. It was a bit of a whirlwind, but just getting in front of 60, 70, 80 people, probably generated me at least 10 to 15 different conversations. And then starting, at the end of last year, I started the annual reviews. And just starting to get more conversations that way, given a lot of my past clients have some good equity, and just helping them financially plan what they would potentially want to do with that equity.
Dude, I love it. Henry, phenomenal. Thank you. And both you two, and Brenda and Troy, thank you all. Sean Policino, best marketing strategy that you did last year that brought the most deals?
Sure. I would say a performance guarantee to sellers.
Tell me more.
I kind of followed Matt Badiata out of San Diego, who's been doing this for years. And I guess it's a Craig Proctor thing where you put out there a performance guarantee, their guaranteed offer on their property within a certain period of time. And it shifted my whole mindset around the commission. I mean, I'm not locking myself into a low commission and offering a guarantee. I'm keeping my commission high so that I can have this guarantee to be able to give back to them as form of a rebate in commission. And it's gotten me listing appointments that I never would have had.
Fantastic.
Putting that out trying to put that out across all channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well.
Good job, Sean. All right. So you offer that up and they contact you because of the offer. Then you go on the listing presentation. How often do they actually bring it up? I'm just curious.
It's definitely the reason they're calling me. So it comes up pretty much all the time. I also modified my commission conversation, and I used Dave Torgenson's 6, 7, and 8% commission when they ask me.
Yeah.
And that's made a pretty big difference as well. And then, with at EXP, we have express offers. So I'm walking into the listing agreement with a cash buyer in my pocket. And I think that confidence is what's helped as well.
Okay. I love it. Way to go, Sean. Congratulations. Jennifer, over to you. Best marketing strategy brought the most deals. And by the way, Jennifer she bounces between the #1 and #2 team in all of Canada, by the way. So congratulations, Jennifer. That's awesome. Real quick, before Jennifer says what she's going to say, I'm going on a listing appointment that came from that strategy tomorrow morning. $24 million on the beach in Newport Beach. So Sean, you might be a buyer for it. It's great property. I know you beachfront property. Very cool. I'd have to sell everything I own.
So good. So good.
Good stuff. All right, Jennifer, over to you.
So for us, I would say probably our birthday cards that we mail out to existing clients and all past clients. So we get them an individual card from like Hallmark, something that's really nice quality. I have someone that this is really her only job. And then she goes out and handpicks gift cards for them, puts it in, handwrites everything, mails it off. That's huge. And then we do free coffee events. So we do, we believe in give before you receive. So we do like a postcard, and on one side it's like you know, enjoy this free coffee on us, maybe a joke, and then pay it. We have something on the other side. I'll say something like pay it forward, you know, and then for any free evaluation, contact us. So as they go through, we'll do say 4 different coffee shops, all different areas, about $700. And as they go through, they're given a card for whatever they've ordered, breakfast, you know, coffee, whatever. And we find that those really work. So even yesterday, I went with one agent to kind of assist them on a big listing presentation. And that was the first thing they mentioned. Of course we would use you. You've bought us coffee over the years, right? But that's part of it. It's always remembering that give before you receive.
Fantastic.
So those are my 2 big
Thank you.
things.
Yeah, it creates a lot of reciprocity, right? The hand that's left
Yeah.
empty, never giving, is open to receive, right? And
Yes.
another way to say that I say it all the time, you can't kick the side of a wood burning stove and say, give me heat and I'll give you wood. No, you got to put the wood in first, right? You got to get the kindling, you got to get it, you know, blazing. So good stuff. Sean Paul in Denver, over to you. By the way, that's my middle name as well, Sean. So that's pretty cool. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Sean. Thank you. All right, take it away, buddy. Best marketing idea of 2022.
So really establishing just the farm of my current neighborhood. You know, I was a little bit apprehensive about really diving into it because I know I want to move from Burbia to downtown Denver. But my coach at the time was like, hey, you know what? You just got to farm where you're at now. And you know what? If that farm is working, you know it well. You know, even if you do move out of the burbs to Denver, continue to farm that farm and just get that whole thing out of your head. So along with that farm, you know, having events, you know, like sponsoring the garage sale, you know, getting mailers out, getting information, whether it's the newsletter or it's, you know, the Facebook website, creating events. So garage sale was a big deal, you know, going to every individual garage sale and meeting them in person, you know, bringing coffee and bagels or donuts, whatever. And, you know, just letting them know that, hey, you're, you know, basically I'm kind of the one that, you know, put this thing together and, you know, looking to do more in the future. Along with that being said, creating other events like a shredathon, you know, getting people out, you know, meeting people in person. Really, the key for me is just getting in front of the neighbors and really farming that neighborhood, you know, like a true funnel.
I love it, Sean. That is so powerful. Way to go. Well, first you want to dominate your own neighborhood, right? Then you're going to expand out to different farm areas and then your state, then you start expanding beyond your state boundaries, which is fantastic. Way to go. Now, one of the things, and that kind of brought something up in my mind, one of the things that I did, and as painful as it was, I became the president of our homeowners association. I did it for 5 years, and yet I had 99% market share in that sub area, which was really a painful thing to do, and it paid dividends. So something you might consider. All right, Cal, over to you, bud. Best marketing idea from 2022. Talk to me.
Anything Sphere related, client events, all of our database dripping and contacts. Sphere was our #1 producer.
Way to go, Cal. So getting as close to your sphere of influence you possibly can. Smart move, man. Smart move. Pete Peterson. Over to you, my friend. Take it away. Best marketing idea and strategy in 2022 that produced the highest results.
We really focused on Google. So I got a coach and not in real estate that would help us placement on Google. So we found the top 20 highest volume search terms for real estate or real estate agents in our area. And then we hired a company and we paid them to critique everything that we were doing from SEO perspective, website. And then we made a commitment to be in the 3-pack, which is on Google Maps, Google LSA, and then organic Google. And our goal was to get on the first page of Google 10 of the 20 at least 2 to 3 times. And so that return has been phenomenal for us. And so we're in the 3-pack, I think, in 16 of the top 20 search terms. So
fantastic. Well, it's a longer tail approach. It takes time, yet it sounds like you were able to get that done in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, and there's some really cool tools out there now that can help you, you know, as individual teams or agents, that you can go in and really focus. And if you dedicate time every day to that, to helping grab traction, that makes it, I think a few years ago, I don't, it was Google pay-per-click ads. It was the solution to everything.
Yeah.
We did not have good luck with those. And so I thought, well, we're going to invest in time and money, and got a coach for our marketing director. And that's what we went after.
And I love it. Well, Pete, congratulations. That is awesome. Well, thank you guys for being open, transparent, sharing your ideas with everybody else. And, we're going to do this again next week. In fact, we're going to do it every single week. And I'm going to bring an agenda to the table every week that is going to be strategically designed to help you guys go from this level, because where you're at today and what got you here isn't necessarily going to get you there, right? It's not going to get you that next level. So I'm going to consistently challenge your thinking week after week after week. I'm going to stretch your mind, or at least that's my intention. And once our minds are stretched, guys, it never goes back to its original form. So until we talk again next week, just be on purpose, be productive, be powerful. Thank you all for being here. Talk soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone.